Hey, today we're going to be talking about Draftback, a new and exciting tool that you can use to analyze Google Docs. Draftback is a Chrome extension that is used to look at the history of edits in a Google Doc. It shows up right here under the word Draftback as a button that you can select that will play back your edits or anybody's edits to that document over time. It also gives you a summary of these edits in a graphical format that is very useful. I will review all of these features over the next few minutes. First thing we have to do is install it. So in order to do that, I just go ahead and type in install Draftback into the search bar and then click on Draftback. That is going to take me to this Chrome added sheet here. So I'm going to add it to Chrome, clicking right here. And I'm going to say yes, add extension. Okay, and that automatically adds the extension to Chrome. And I can now go to my Google Docs. And I got to find a good Google Doc to take a look at. And it is a test document that I created yesterday. The first part of it I typed. The next section I cut and pasted from ChatGPT. And the very last section I typed. So I'm going to look over here and you can see right in this area here it says Draftback. So I'm going to click that. What it's going to do, it's going to create and play what I typed. And it might look a little different when you do it. On the test document, I had already done that Draftback, so it showed me more stuff. So now you can see up that I quickly pasted that. So over here on the left side, I can move this around to show the whole thing. You can also slide this thing back and forth, this little timeline. And even with the timeline, you can also use these buttons right here to go basically frame by frame. So you can see every detail if you need to, and you can also go backwards. Another super useful feature is I can go here to the document graphs and statistics. I can go ahead and look at these things. It generates this terrific set of data. So we're going to look at several things because there's a bunch of information here. One is the light blue stuff, one is the red dots, what they mean and what this graph here means, and then lastly the writing sessions. So the first thing that's useful is this light blue area. It shows the length of the document over time. So beginning with the day 1, Monday, the 25th of September, it was this length, and then as we went on this day, there were a lot of edits. It jumped up and the document was longer. So it's just a document graph for the length of it. So it stayed the same the rest of the thing, the timeline, so there must have been edits going on over time, or nothing happening over time until the very last day. The next thing we look at are the red dots. That's the days of activity. So there's some activity here, activity on 9/26, activity here, and on the last couple of days or last couple of edit sessions, there were edits there too on Monday 10/9, 10/23. So that's the red dots. Now what we have here is this little area, this graph, this big kind of graph here shows where in the document the changes were. So if we look here, it shows all of the changes occurred over time at the beginning of the document. Then the next big edit session, there are a bunch of little changes going on, maybe edits. And then the length, the document got longer. And so the editing was occurring at the end of the document. There's a little bit of a jump here, so there might have been something pasted. Then there's a little bit of editing going on here, then it just sat dormant for a while until this day where the edits took place all over the course of the document. So the beginning of the document there are edits, middle of the document, 3/4, end of the document, there are edits all over the place in the document. The last thing is the writing sessions, which is also super useful, shows the date and time span. So Monday, 9/25 from 3:36 to 4:18, 42 minutes, Mrs. Smith made 1,133 revisions. Now, if Mrs. Smith is actually John Smith's mom, perhaps she did a pretty good chunk of the writing, assuming she was editing it and John wasn't the one typing. On Tuesday, there were multiple edits over the course of time here, so you can see there are different edits by John Smith. And then 9:28, a little bit more. Then there's a break until 10:09, where there are some edits going on here, 627, and then 147 at the end. So this is a kind of a running list of the edits. All of this being super useful to determine whether or not somebody was cheating or had somebody else type it or cut and paste.